Mole hole, the well-to-hell mystery. Imagine standing in a remote stretch of frozen land where the cold winds cut across endless forests and tundra. Beneath your feet, the Earth stretches downward for thousands of miles, a vast interior of rock, magma, and mysteries we barely understand. For centuries, humanity has looked up to the heavens in search of answers. But what if some of the greatest mysteries lie not above us, but below, hidden deep within the Earth itself? This is the story of the Mole Hole. Sometimes called the Well to Hell, it is one of the strangest, most haunting legends of the modern age. A tale that mixes science, rumor, and fear into a mystery that still echoes today. The story begins in the late 20th century, during the height of the Cold War. The Soviet Union, competing fiercely with the United States, not just in space, but in every field of science, embarked on a daring experiment. They wanted to drill deeper into the Earth than anyone had ever gone before. It was a project as ambitious as going to the moon, not reaching upward, but downward, into the heart of the planet. The site chosen was on the Kola Peninsula in the far north of Russia, a remote and icy region near the Arctic Circle. There, in 1970, Soviet scientists began the Kola Superdeep Borehole project. Their goal was to study the Earth's crust, to understand geology, heat flow, and the composition of the planet itself. Bit by bit, year after year, the drill went deeper. By the 1980s, the Soviets had achieved something no one else on Earth had ever done. They had drilled more than 12 kilometers into the ground, over 7 miles. The borehole was only a few inches wide, but it reached deeper into the Earth than Mount Everest is tall. Even today, the Kola Superdeep Borehole remains the deepest man-made hole on the planet. But as the hole deepened, strange stories began to circulate. Rumors of unexpected discoveries, of things the scientists could not explain. Some said they found rocks behaving in ways no one predicted. Others claimed they encountered temperatures so extreme that equipment failed. And then there was the legend of what came from the depths, sounds that seemed to echo not from geology, but from something else entirely. According to the tale, microphones lowered into the borehole picked up strange noises. Not the shifting of rocks or the rumble of heat, but sounds that resembled human voices. Whispers, screams, cries of torment. The recordings, some claimed, were unlike anything ever heard before. Scientists at the site were said to have been shaken to their core, terrified by what they heard. One report even claimed they abandoned the project, declaring they had drilled into hell itself. The story exploded in the late 1980s and early 1990s, spreading across newspapers, radio broadcasts, and eventually the early internet. The idea of a well to hell captured people's imaginations. A hole so deep it pierced another realm, a place where tortured souls cried out from the underworld. Religious groups pointed to it as proof of their beliefs. Skeptics dismissed it as a hoax. But once the tale took hold, it never truly disappeared. Recordings said to be from the mole hole circulated widely, grainy audio clips filled with eerie, echoing cries. To some, it was chilling evidence. To others, it was nothing more than manipulated sound. Scientists insisted the noises were fabricated, pointing out that no such recordings were ever part of the official Kola project. And yet, for many, the legend was too powerful to ignore. What makes the mole hole so haunting is not just the idea of screams from the Earth, but what it represents. Humanity drilling deep into the unknown, pushing against the boundaries of nature, and perhaps crossing into places we were not meant to go. Whether fact or fiction, the story reminds us of our smallness before the mysteries of the world beneath us. Scientifically, the Kola Superdeep Borehole was remarkable, even without the myths. The Soviets discovered water trapped miles beneath solid rock, something geologists had never expected. They found microscopic fossils of life forms that had been buried for billions of years. And they encountered heat, far more than their models predicted. Temperatures near the bottom of the borehole reached nearly 200 degrees Celsius, so extreme that the drill could go no further. In the end, nature itself stopped humanity's descent. But for the legend of the mole hole, the science only adds to the mystery. Strange discoveries, combined with whispers of unexplained sounds, created the perfect storm of rumor and fear. Even after the collapse of the Soviet Union, the stories endured. Some said the hole was sealed, hidden away to keep its secrets. Others imagine that governments knew more than they revealed, guarding evidence of something beyond science. Today, the Kola borehole is abandoned. The metal cap covering the hole lies rusted in the Arctic cold, a lonely reminder of one of the boldest scientific projects in history. Tourists who travel to the remote site often describe a sense of unease, as though standing on the edge of something forbidden. The hole itself is silent now, but the legend is not. What is the truth of the mole hole? Were the sounds real? A hoax? A misunderstanding? Or could it be that in reaching so deep, humanity brushed against something we cannot explain? The well to hell remains one of the most powerful modern myths, a story that blurs the line between science and the supernatural. It speaks to our deepest fears, that beneath our feet lies not just stone and fire, but something darker. And it speaks to our deepest curiosity, the need to know what lies hidden, even if the answer terrifies us. As you reflect on this mystery, picture the hole itself, a narrow shaft plunging down into the unknown, deeper than any other man-made structure on Earth. Imagine standing at its edge, listening. What would you hear? Silence? The creak of stone under pressure? Or something else? Perhaps the mole hole is nothing more than a legend, a story born of rumor and imagination. Or perhaps it is a reminder that even in an age of science and technology, the Earth still holds secrets that defy explanation. The next time you look at the ground beneath your feet, remember, the greatest mysteries may not lie in the stars above us, but in the depths below. And somewhere, beneath the frozen soil of the Arctic, the mole hole waits.